לך אמר ליבי בקשו פניי, בקשו פניי. לך אמר ליבי בקשו פניי, בקשו פניי. לך אמר ליבי בקשו פניי, בקשו פניי. לך אמר ליבי בקשו פניי, את פנייך הוויה אבקש
You can definitely get carried away to the sounds of Navatehila. I want to thank them for beginning our Zoom Siyyum for this Wednesday evening. Hope you're all doing well. Nice to see you out there. I'm going to be signing onto Facebook to see who's with us on our Facebook page. I'm here solo again this evening. Rabbi is away for another day or two. We'll be back, of course, for Shabbat this Friday night. This Shabbat, we get to welcome our women of TBI who will be sharing in leading our service. So that's always a great occasion and a great reason to come out and join us. We are, moving forward towards more and more engagement in person. We've been doing services for quite a few weeks now, and we will be able to do that even more so as we get closer to what hopefully will be a real opening up of our communities because we have COVID under control. But let me just start out with a little bit of a welcome song here. Eivenu shalom alechem, alechem eivenu shalom, eivenu shalom alechem. Alechem Heveinu Shalom. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachan. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachan. Oh baby, Eivenu Shalom Alechem, Alechem Eivenu Shalom, Eivenu Shalom Alechem, Alechem Eivenu, Alechem Eivenu, Alechem Eivenu Shalom. So I'm going to switch over here to my phone because I'm having a little bit of trouble. Logging into Facebook on my computer here. So I just want to see who's with us so I can say hello. We have Simon and Yvonne with us on Facebook. I'm sorry, on Zoom. At least. And if I can just push a button here. Let's see who is with us on FB. So we have an opportunity to say hello to. Just gotta do some more scrolling here. So we have Donna and Ellen and Martha. Shalom to you. And whoops, getting my own voice back at me here. Got rid of that. So I'm going to share a story, and then maybe if anybody else wants to come on, please don't hesitate to say hello to each other in the chat. This is a story called Lift Up Your Eyes and See. Among the many Israelites who left Egypt were two men, Shlumiel and Buz. Slaves never look up, they only look down. But as slaves for their entire lives, Shlumiel and Buz had grown so accustomed to looking down, they could no longer lift their eyes. When Moses brought us across the Red Sea, we all witnessed the great miracle. The sea parted and we escaped from slavery. We became a free people. We came to know that God has a purpose for our history. Shlumiel asked Booz, "What do you see?" "I see mud," Booz responded. "I see mud too. What's all this about freedom? We had mud in Egypt, and we got mud here." And they missed the miracle of their escape. The sea split before them, but they didn't see it. They only saw mud. Then we stood at Mount Sinai in the presence of God and heard God's voice proclaiming the commandments. We accepted God's covenant and pledged ourselves to become a holy people, God's partners in the world and healing the world. Shlumiel asked Booz, "What do you hear?" I hear someone shouting commands," Booz answered. "I hear commands too. What's all this about Torah? They shouted commands at us in Egypt, and they shout commands at us here. What's the difference?" And they missed the miracle of hearing God's voice. God spoke to every Israelite, but Shlumiel and Booz didn't hear this voice. They had heard enough commandments. Finally, after 40 years of wandering in the desert, we arrived at the promised land, the land of milk and honey, the land promised our ancestors. We arrived in the place of our fondest dreams. Booz asked Shlumiel, "How do you feel?" "My feet hurt," Shlumiel replied. "My feet hurt too," said Booz. "What's all this about a promised land? My feet hurt in Egypt, and my feet hurt here." And they missed the miracle of entering our own land, Eretz Yisrael. The Israelites returned the promised land. The Israelites returned to the promised land, promised them by the covenant. The promise to our ancestors was fulfilled, but Shlumiel and Booz didn't know it. They knew none of it. Their feet hurt too much. So what did they do? Shlumiel and Booz turned around and began walking back to Egypt. Some say that Shlumiel and Booz are still wandering the wilderness, looking down at the desert sand and rocks and complaining to each other. Others say they went back to Egypt, back to Pharaoh, back to slavery, back to the place they knew best, back to the place where they began. Still others say that they've seen Shlumiel and Booz, or perhaps their descendants, walking among us, living right here and now, wandering about with their eyes cast down, missing all the miracles that are taking place around them all the time. They haven't any idea where they're going, and they continue to miss all the many chances to know what life is about. If they could only lift up their eyes and see. Now, I know in this challenging times there are numerous reasons to cast our eyes down, despair the state of the world, despair from all of the tragedy and harshness we see every day. But I just want to remind us that as we all are maybe motivated to cast our eyes down in woe and despair, in lifting our eyes up, there is still beauty in the world, there is still hope in the world, and there are things that we as individuals can do to change the world and even in our very own minimal way enhance the life of others who are suffering so tremendously at this point in our history. So let's hold our heads up, move forward out of our own particular Mitzrayim, our own narrow place, which has been the COVID concerns of our community, and see if we can, just direct whatever energy we can to solving the plight of those, the solving the plight of the Ukrainians who are suffering so terribly during this awful time in history. So anyway, that's my story for today. I hope it was slightly uplifting. I'm going to just take another look at our Facebook feed and see if we can welcome anyone new. Donna and Ellen and Martha are still with us. I know Simon and Yvonne are here with us on Facebook. I'm going to just remove my pin so I can see them. You want to say hi at all, Simon and Yvonne?
As you can see from my apron, I've been baking Hamantaschen. I've just finished baking 300.
Wow.
And 600, 5 or 6 dozen will be on their way to Chicago tomorrow to my grandchildren.
How delicious.
And then I have a long list of, I've been accumulating people along the way over the years that there'll be a few more boxes going out too. It's sort of a production here. And
Right.
I've got my Hamantaschen earrings.
You are,
But apart from that, it
jewelry.
seems a bit trivial on what's going on now. But I was reminded, I hadn't forgotten that my grandfather, who I never met my grandparents, they were gone before I was born, but he did come from Brody in Ukraine. It wasn't Ukraine at the time. Brody is part of Lviv now. Yep. But I'm sure most of us can track our families back to Poland, Austria, Ukraine, all those areas, our Ashkenazi, I should say.
Yeah.
So our prayers, of course, are with all the people from Ukraine. We can't pray enough, I don't think.
No. And, as someone who does, I do a lot of Jewish genealogy research and stuff like that. It's, the census records and the citizenship records, they often just say Russia, and what they really mean is, the area that was one time Poland, one time Ukraine, one time Belarus, the whole pale of settlement in that surrounding area. And by far the majority of the people that I help trace their roots, it's that Ukrainian, that area, sort of the triangle between Minsk and Odessa and Warsaw. That's where we almost all of us in some way can trace our ancestry back to that area. Almost all, not everyone, but and there's a tremendous number of Jews who are living in the Ukraine. The Ukrainian Jewish community have been growing and growing and growing. Not just let's say an Orthodox connected community or a totally secular community, but a progressive / small L liberal Jewish community has grown up in the Ukraine as well. So anyway, our hearts are certainly turned towards them. Thank you for your Hamantash service. We will have Hamantash for our Beit Sefer, our Jewish community school students on Sunday for as we celebrate Purim. There's not a formal carnival this year, but we have activities planned for our students. And then, of course, 1 week from tonight, there will be no Zoom Siyyum like this one, because we will be celebrating Purim in the sanctuary. And please join us at TBI for, wear a costume, sing some Purim songs. We'll read from the Megillah, and we'll nash some Hamantaschen. So come on down. Let's start our Siyyum. Oh, that's really out of tune. Stand by. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom. V'ha'amidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Oh, teach us, God, wrong from right. Oh, Adonai. Amen. Amen, amen. Amen, amen. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom. V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Just a very, very short list of announcements. I think I've mentioned most things that I wanted to highlight already. First is this Friday evening, we welcome the women of TBI to our bima to help lead our Shabbat services. We invite you to join us in the sanctuary or on Zoom or on Facebook or on YouTube. We are welcoming folks back to the sanctuary. We'll have a modified oneg. We'll have challah and wine in the social hall as we eventually are week by week transitioning towards a fuller oneg Shabbat experience as the county and as we implement our updated COVID protocols. We have Purim for our JCS students on Sunday evening. We have Purim for the rest of our community 1 week from tonight in our sanctuary. We have Havdalah on Saturday night, as usual, at 6:45. And then just a reminder, we turn the clocks turn the clocks forward. So unfortunately, I think some of us will lose a little bit of sleep. And then, of course, we're back Monday and Wednesday, and looking forward 1 week from this Friday to welcoming and celebrating our new members, those who have recently joined our community for New Member Shemat, and we'll be celebrating that weekend the Bat Mitzvah of Camille Mann. So lots going on and lots to get excited about. We'll close with an Oseh Shalom. Tuning exercise here. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Say Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Say Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Say Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Amen. May the Holy One bring peace unto all Yisrael and all of the world, to which we say, Amen. Thank you for joining us this evening. Great to see you, and we will see you again Friday night. Lehitraot. Good night, everybody. Take care.